store associate here at Bed Bath & Beyond's flagship store in the Chelsea neighborhood of Manhattan. Today I'm going to talk to you about a machine we sell called a room humidifier. Wintertime in New York is cold, and when air is cold, it holds very little moisture. Warm that air up to room temperature, and the relative humidity becomes very low. The air feels very dry. You dry out your skin. It can aggravate sinus or respiratory conditions. It can cause static electricity, and if you have good furniture or musical instruments, the wood can shrink and split. Now in New York City we tend to live in apartments, so we don't have available to us whole house humidification systems. What we use are called, now almost all humidifiers use a water tank similar to the one I'm going to show you here. To fill the machine with water, you simply lift off the water tank, make sure nothing can fall off, turn it over, remove a cap, fill it with water, replace the cap, place the tank on the machine, and start it and operate it. Now please keep in mind that water weighs 8 pounds per gallon, and some of our machines hold 2 gallons or a little bit more of water. So they can be quite heavy, and you should be careful when you fill the tank all the way. Of course, if you're not comfortable with the tank weighing that much, you can fill the tank part way and simply refill it more often. Now, some customers express nervousness about the machine developing mold or mildew. As I said, the better machines have built-in measures to prevent this or minimize it. But even if you purchase or decide to purchase a budget machine, we have accessories available that'll make this unlikely. You should clean the machine every 10 days to 2 weeks with one of the products I mentioned before. Also, if you're going to leave the machine unused for more than a day, empty it out and leave it open to dry. Also, you should never put a machine away wet at the end of the winter. If you do, then when you go to use it next season, it will probably be unusable. Some of our better humidifiers have a built-in device called a humidistat, which will control the amount of moisture that's released into the room. For example, this machine from Crane, you can see the digital display and the numeral displaying the current relative humidity, and when you try to adjust the machine, it also displays the target humidity you'd like. In a climate like we have in New York City in the wintertime, you should aim for a relative humidity indoors in the range of 40 to 50%. One exception would be if the machine is going into a sick room, somebody with a cold or flu. In that case, it is acceptable to over-humidify the air to make that person more comfortable, but as a rule, this should be temporary. Room humidifiers used to be available in 2 types, warm and cool. About 10 years ago, ultrasonic humidifiers became available that run both ways, warm and cool. Now if you acquire one of these machines and you're putting it in a room that tends to run cool or cold, then run it on the warm setting. If you're putting it into a room that's overheated and stuffy, then you can run it on the cool setting. These ultrasonic machines, such as the ones from Aero Swiss, have become popular because of several features. First, they're very quiet, or in fact completely silent. The better quality machines also include good mineral absorbing filters that clean up the water that you put in the machine, remove the lime and iron the tap water contains, and they also have measures to sterilize the water so that one characteristic of the ultrasonic humidifiers is you can fill them only with plain tap water. If you wish to use some of the plant extract liquids, Vicks VapoSteam is one, or essential oils, then you need to get a traditional steam type humidifier or vaporizer. The disadvantages of these are that they use much more electricity than the ultrasonic type. They also require much more frequent cleaning. They are suitable generally for smaller rooms rather than large rooms. And if you have a well-heated or warm room, you're just putting more heat into that room, which may not be desirable. Now, if you travel in places where the weather is cold, you're probably familiar with hotel rooms where the air is also dry and uncomfortable. For this purpose, we have available some travel humidifiers. Now, some of these have built-in water tanks of their own, and others simply use half-liter water or soda bottles, but they all can fit quite easily in a suitcase. Now, keep in mind that all of the items in a room, the furniture, the bedding, the rugs, clothes, all these dry out in the winter too. Now when you start up a humidifier, some of the moisture that you'd like to go into the air is being absorbed by these items. And it can take some hours for the moisture to build up to a comfortable level. If you turn off the humidifier, which is perfectly okay to do, keep in mind that when you turn it back on, you'll have to go through that cycle again. And it will take some hours for the room to become comfortable. Thank you for watching this presentation. I hope the information is helpful. I can't promise you that a humidifier will make January feel like July, but if you've never used one before, you will be surprised at how much one can improve wintertime in your home.